Hey my friend, this is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm the founder of Power to Be Happy and the author of Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in the challenging world of today. Listen, have you ever felt that your friends just don't listen? Have you ever felt that maybe your friends, they just don't get it right now? They don't understand the struggle that you're in. Have you ever felt like maybe your friends have just kind of given up on you? Maybe you felt that your friends just don't understand what you're experiencing right now, and they're not present. They don't understand what you're going through, and as a result, you might be feeling kind of miserable and alone. And I gotta tell you, if this is you, if this is what you're experiencing, I'm here for you, man. I'm feeling you. Well, I know that it's tough. It's tough to go through that, especially right now in these crazy times that we live in these times of where there is so much worry, where there is so much uncertainty, where you don't know what's going to happen, and there is so much struggle we go through. You know, where we don't know where all of us are worried about our health, we're worried about our loved ones, we're worried about our jobs, our businesses. It's tough, man. And you need your people to be there in your life who are really going to be there for you in a big, powerful way. And they're going to step up and be there for you, you know, in a time of struggle. I know how it goes because, you know, when I was going through my personal experience of going through cancer, you know, listen, I was in hospital and I was in a place where I was abandoned by my friends. A lot of people who were close to me really didn't show up in a big way. And I couldn't work it out. I couldn't understand why it was happening. And tell you what, I remember, I remember just like it was yesterday. I was in my hospital ward and I was sitting there, and in the same ward was another guy who was, you know, my age, and I was just so surprised because he always had people over. He always had friends, and I gotta tell you, it's hard for me to say that, but I was kind of jealous. I was like looking at this guy and going like, why aren't my friends here? I mean, I let them know what was going on. And it was kind of getting to me, and that's when I realized. I thought, hey, of course, like this is a big hospital, right? I mean, they've got all this fancy equipment here, like, you know, and they're blocking out the signal there. So obviously, if you're trying to get through to me, like you can't get through because they're jamming the signal. I was like, of course, obviously, that's why no one can get through, and you know, can just give me a call or show up because I want to get in touch with me first. So I just thought, I'll just check that. I'll go and kind of verify my theory. So here I am. I get up from my bed and I was dragging my drip with me, you know, because I was still, you know, plugged into my vein. I was getting chemotherapy at that time. And I went in to find a landline. So I'm walking around this kind of the hospital ward, and it was a big place. It was, and I remember, like, eventually I made my way to a landline. It was just, I think, on some nurse's desk or something. And so I picked up the landline, put my mobile phone next to it, and I dialed my number. And I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure whether it was going to go to voicemail or maybe, it's just be no dial tone. I had no idea what was going to happen. So I just dialed the number, and it was weird because, you know, in an instant, my mobile phone, it just lit up. It just lit up, and it played its silly jingle, whatever it was at the time, and I lit up. And in that moment, I looked at that kind of bright screen, and it was kind of dark because it was late at night. I was looking at that bright screen, and I just couldn't get my eyes off it, because at that point I realized that nobody's coming. And I started to kind of question what was going on. I started questioning, like, if these people care about me, have I been a bad person? I mean, maybe, like, you know, they just treated me the way that it's supposed to happen. And it really got to me. It took months for me to work through it, and until what some of those people are definitely not part of my life anymore. It was rough. It was rough. I had to face a lot of things. There was a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. I have went through so many emotions. I'm sure you've been through a point where maybe your friend didn't show up for you. Maybe you felt like they were not there for you in the way that you wanted them to be there for you. So today we're going to talk about really how do you work out what's going on, and like what do you do then? Right, so I believe that when it happens, when you're in a place where your friend is not there for you, they don't listen, they don't show up, they're not there for you to support you and be there for you on your terms, it really happens as I see it, for three reasons. Well, the first reason is they don't understand what you're going through. And I think that's an important point to acknowledge. Sometimes we really feel like because we have a certain bond with people around us, whether they're friends or family, they know you well and they should be able to read some of those situations, especially if it's someone who's been in your life for a long time and they know you, they know what you're about. But I think the reality is that they oftentimes have no idea what is happening. Because sometimes we get thrown off and they may have their own things going on in their life. So they might have missed your signals, they might have missed those cues, or maybe you think it's something that is blatantly obvious, but they have no clue. And I think that's a very real thing that comes up for a lot of people. They just don't understand, or sometimes they don't relate to your experience. You might be going through something and maybe this is something that's never come up for them in some way. They can't relate to it. It's not because they don't care. It's not because they don't want to be a part of your life. It's not because they're selfish, but it's simply because they haven't really been exposed to that and they cannot relate. It's like, for example, if someone's never had kids, for example, sometimes it's hard for them to relate to the person who has their own family, who has kids, right? Because the challenges that you go through and the situations that you find yourself in are just so different, right? So this is the type of situation where we have to recognize, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, what you do about it. But I think it's important to bring out and highlight the very real possibility that this person simply may not understand, may not know what you're going through. And we really want to be able to bring that up to them. We'll talk about how to do that in a sec. The second reason why that could be happening is that they themselves have too much going on. I've honestly been in various points of my life where I thought, well, this person isn't paying too much attention. This person seems to be distracted. This person, maybe they're not returning my phone calls. Maybe like the time that we spend together, it just seems like they're just going through the motions. And it was only later that I found out that they were going through things themselves, maybe with their partner, with their family, with their career. And maybe I just didn't know what was happening. So it's entirely possible that your friend or someone that you care about in your life, they have too much going on and they would love to be there for you and would love to support you, but maybe it's not the right time, or maybe that's why they seem distracted or just frazzled or just all over the place. And we want to kind of really explain to them what's happening in your life so they can see situation for what it is and really kind of step up and be there for you in the way that you truly deserve. So we're going to talk about how to do it in a second as well. But ultimately, the third reason is, and that's often happens as well, I mean, I know it happened in my life, is that sometimes you kind of drift apart in life. Isn't it true? Isn't it true that sometimes you've been close with the person and maybe you've went through things together, maybe you had a lot in common at one point of your life, but then things happen. Life takes its course and we all go through changes, and then kind of, with years go by and you kind of look back on it and, you kind of think of this person as a close friend and or a mate or whoever that might be. But in reality, maybe you'd really drifted apart. Maybe you don't have all that much in common. And maybe if you want to be honest, maybe sometimes you're not really interested in their life, and maybe they're not that much interested in yours. And you're kind of just going through the motions because of all the history, of all the shared experiences that you had. And sometimes it takes, in my case it was cancer, but in some cases it just takes other places of your personal struggle, whatever you might be going through right now. It's just a difficult time. So sometimes bring those things to light. So I really believe that those are the three reasons. First, they don't understand what you're going through. And we want to be able to explain to them and bring it up so that they really, they have a really good understanding that you are going through things. Or maybe that you're just missing their attention. You want to be with them, and we want to bring to them and just highlight it to them in a big, powerful way so they can make a mistake. The second reason is maybe they have themselves too much going on and they've missed things. They missed your cues. They missed the fact that you have challenges of your own or struggles of your own, or that you have your own needs that maybe are not being met right now. And we want to be able to bring that up for them in a way that they know what's happening, right? There's no mistake, there's no confusion or misunderstanding. And the third thing is that maybe you guys drifted apart. Maybe just life's just taking you to separate directions and you can went your own separate ways, but maybe you never really thought about it like that. I think what we need to do in any case, in all of those situations, what is different is that what we do now. And what we want to be able to do from this point on is we need to separate, right? Separate those people who truly care about you and they want to be in your life. And maybe they don't really know how, but we want to separate from people who truly care about you from people who don't. And I know it's a little bit black and white. I'm making it black and white on purpose, right? But the reality is that there are people who care about you. They may have things going on. They may have missed things with you. They may not understand or relate to some of your experiences, but they want to be there for you. They care for you. They appreciate you on some level. They genuinely care for that. We want to bring those people and keep them in your life and cherish them and support them. And we want to make sure that they stay in your life and they are there for you and support you in the real terms. We also want to separate people who maybe for whatever reason, they don't care about you. Maybe they've got too many things and they don't have room for you in your life. Maybe, you drifted apart for whatever reason. Those people are not ready to be your friend. They're not happy. They're not ready to be there and support you. They're not ready to spend time with you. They're not ready to listen. And that's okay. That's okay. But it's important to set them aside. That doesn't necessarily mean kick them out of your life, but it's important to set them aside and know that you really want to put your attention and your focus into people who are there, who care, who really, they want to be there for you and they want to support you in a meaningful way. So how do we separate them out? I think we have to do, we're going to talk about 4 things. It's kind of a process that we can take people through. And to me, it's all about giving people the edge and having the edge with your friends. And the edge means having them been there in your life. And because friends, in my mind, are supposed to give you something extra. They're supposed to take you to another level. They're supposed to give you something cool. They're supposed to give you like that feeling of being cherished, of being the center of attention, of being loved, of being someone that people look up to, People respect and they want to be around you in some way and they want to share things with you, right? That's a really special feeling. That's why we make friends, right? And we want to have more of that in your life. And those people who are kind of just neither here nor there, we really want to, spend a lot of time on them, right? Because we are all busy. I'm sure you've got a lot of things going on in your life. And we want to give that time, give that attention and focus to people who truly deserve it at this point in your life. So it comes down to really 4 things, I believe. The first is in terms of the edge, and this is an acronym, right? The first, the E in edge, for me stands for educate. You gotta educate your friends on what it is that you're actually looking for in your life. And by educate, I mean telling them this is what you're experiencing, this is what's going through for me, and and explaining it to them in no uncertain terms so that there is no misunderstanding. And sometimes you can do that in person, saying, and I know that can be a hard conversation to have, but it can be saying, hey, listen, I don't know if you know, but I'm really struggling with, with losing my job. I don't know if you noticed, but, things have changed for me since I've been sick. I don't know if you know, but like I'm not in a good place right now. And give people an opportunity to ask you, to start a conversation, but give them something. Give them something so that they understand that you're in a place where you need more, that you're in a place where you got some things in your life and sometimes it's hard to bring those things up. Sometimes it's difficult to do this. Sometimes if it's something that affects you in a big way, maybe it's something that you want to send people an email about. I wish I've done that. When I was going through cancer, I sent an email to a group of my friends and kind of explained what it is that I'm going through and the kind of the support that I'm looking for. Because I think it would have been a lot easier for them to really show up and be there for me. So first of all, yes, educate them. Educate your friends on what it is that you are going through right now. Tell them this is what's going on for me. This is how it makes me feel. And just let them know. Let them say that it's okay to ask questions. Let me know if you're going through for me, but this is a difficult time for me. This is a critical time for me right now. So that there is no misunderstanding and there is no confusion about what is going through for you right now in your life. The second thing in edge for me is having that edge with friendship and having the friends that really support you and stand up for you in a big way. The D stands for direct them to meaningful action. This is where you've been through a point where you've told them, we educated them, we said to them, here is what I'm going through. And now we want to be able to tell people, this is what I'm looking for. This is the kind of support that I would love for you to have. I would love for you to come and visit me in the hospital. I'd love to really go, maybe hang out, maybe just go for a walk sometime. I'd love for you to maybe help me do groceries. I'd love for you to, talk on the phone maybe once a week. Whatever it is for you, whatever you feel is going to make a difference, spell it out. Don't wait for people to kind of read your mind. Don't wait for people to guess what you want. Don't wait for them to offer something up. Tell them. Direct them to meaningful action. And I'm telling you that the people who truly care about you are going to be grateful. They will never think, oh, you're doing too much. They will be grateful because, listen, if you care about someone in your life, wouldn't you love it if they just said, hey, listen, do you mind? Do you mind helping me with this? Do you mind driving me to the hospital because I'm having trouble doing that right now? Or I just don't feel up to doing it on my own. Do you mind coming with me and to my doctor's appointment or whatever that might be, right? You would always, if you care about them, you'd say, of course, yeah, I'd love to do that, right? If it's a time where you can make it, right? So we want to be able to direct your friends, and the people who truly care about you are going to love that and appreciate that because you've just made it easy for them to support you. The third point I want to make in terms of the edge is the G, is give them a chance to be there for you. Too often we I know I've done that in my life, is we kind of just kind of cut people off, or we just judge them too quickly sometimes. Like we talked about before, they may be going through a lot of things right now themselves. They may be going through challenges that you don't know, you're not familiar with. So once you've educated them and once you've directed them to meaningful action, you want to be able to give them a chance to show up, to kind of step up for you in a big way. Give them a bit of time. Sometimes people need to be told, explained in a few different ways. But if you care about this person, give them a chance. Sit them down and say, hey, listen, I kind of going, and I kind of alluded to just going through things right now. I've really would love for you to be more present in my life. I really would love for you to really spend more time with me and kind of listen, because I feel like we're drifting apart. And I really would love for you, if we're going to remain friends, I would love for you to really just be in my life more in whatever way that means for you, right? Something like that. Just being able to really tell people upfront and just give them an opportunity to stand up, because sometimes they might say, well, listen, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were going through things, or maybe I'm going through things myself, and we're able to find that point of reconnection, find that point of understanding, find that point of relating to each other again. Because sometimes those things, they just, these things pop up that can take you off track, that can get in the way of being the true friend and having the true meaningful connection that you want to have in your life right now. And finally, the fourth thing, in terms of having the edge within your friendships and people around you, is the E is to elevate yourself to be the honored, trusted friend. I think it's really about how do you see yourself? Because I think ultimately it's saying, I want to be the type of friend to people that they're going to want to spend time with, that they're going to value my time. They're going to, want to be around me. I know this is what I knew I was, spent a lot of time thinking after I, lost a lot of friends from my life after going through cancer. And so I sat down with myself and I said, what is it that I want from people from now on, from the friends that I'm going to have? And I want them to cherish me, to really look at me as someone who they trust and respect and they want to be around. And you want to be able to really elevate yourself to a position where friendship is not just an afterthought, it's not just something that kind of happens, but something that becomes something that, that you really put yourself on a level of ambition or a goal. Because isn't this such a huge and powerful thing in life? It's not. It's like having a great career, or having a business that you love, or having or having a great family, or being with the person that you deeply love and care for. I think friendship and being that friend for other people is so huge, and setting those expectations for yourself and for others. And then I want to be, a friend that people admire. I want to be the friend that people look up to. And of course, the powerful thing, if you do that for other people, and of course, you want to be that yourself, right? Because if you want to be that, if you want to be that to other people, you want to be an example, and set the example. If I'm going to be a friend, that I'm going to show up. If I'm going to be an honored friend, a friend who's valued, that I'm going to show up and do my best. I'm going to offer support. I'm going to listen. I'm going to show up in whatever way it is for them, that they feel listened, that they feel heard, that they feel cared for, right? This goes both ways, right? Being a friend, being an honored friend, having a true friendship, having a true kind of relationship where you have a meaningful connection, a bond, a true bond that binds you and that stands the test of time and stands the test of all these awful things that might be happening in your life or in your friend's life. What stands the test of time is saying, I'm going to elevate myself to be a great friend and to get an amazing friendship in return. Because too often, my friend, we fall into patterns that don't really serve us, right? Sometimes you're friends with someone and really it's just doing that out of habit. Or sometimes, you like we talked about, maybe you've drifted apart, and we want to be able to bring yourself to the level where you educate your friends about what is going through in your life and what is it you're looking to for them. You want to be able to direct them to meaningful action so that they can support you in a way that is significant to you and your way of life right now. We also want to be able to really give them a chance to step up and be there for you. And in most cases, that needs a reminder, right? Just saying, hey, this is how it is for me, and this is what I'd really love for you, to help me with, or to be there in my life. And finally, to really elevate yourself to a point where you see yourself as someone who is not going to accept second-rate behavior, but is also going to show up in a big, powerful way that people can rely on, that people can look up to, that people can respect and cherish and love, and ultimately just want to be around. I just want to bring you joy, because I think friendship is all about, having something so special, so meaningful, that you just look forward to it. You look forward to spending time with this person, and ultimately they look forward to being there with you. So that's how so to get your friends to listen and to be there for you in the way that you want to be supported, my friend, you got to set the expectations high and live to them. I hope this has helped you. I hope this has served you in some way. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you soon.